Good afternoon. Today's math lesson, we are going to learn about absolute value and how to plot it on a number line. We're going to look for the absolute value of a number and the opposites of an absolute value. So I'm going to provide some vocabulary or key terms for our lesson. And before we begin our lesson, we're going to go over these key terms so that you have a better understanding of the concept of absolute value. So I'm going to start with our first definition, which is absolute value. Here, absolute value means the distance a number is from zero. So in a little bit, I will draw a number line so that you guys can see it and have a more of a visual understanding of what absolute value mean on a number line. So you're going to write your definitions down in your notebooks. Okay. So you'll be writing them down in your notebook here. Okay. And you're going to write the first key word or vocabulary word is absolute value, which means the distance a number is from zero. Okay. Next up, the next key term is opposites. Okay. All right. So then opposites to your absolute value is numbers that, when placed on a number line, are the exact same distance away from zero. Okay. So absolute value then is the distance a number is from zero. And your opposites are the number, when placed on a number line, are the exact same distance away from zero. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on our board here. Okay? Right. So I'm going to draw a number line. Okay. I'm going to place 0 right here in the middle. I'm going to draw the number and plot 5 spaces. And I'm going to draw 5 spaces over here. Going in the opposite direction or the other direction. Okay? So I have, I'm going to plot here 0. I'm going to plot number 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. Notice, if you notice something about our number line, let me finish plotting. Excuse me, using my equipment here. We have a -1, a -2, and a -3, -4, and a -5. Okay. So if you take a look, I have plotted our numbers here. So I have here's the 0. Okay, so let you know you have a 0 right here. And then you have on the number line. So these are your numbers that are, the absolute value is a number that is not a negative. That's another thing that you will need to know. That the numbers here on your right do not have a negative sign like on the right, on the left here, I mean. So on your left, you have the negative numbers to 0. And then on the right, you have your whole numbers or absolute numbers to the right. what we're going to do together then is plot. And plot means to just place a marker on your number line following the questions that are asked of you. Okay? So that's how we're going to do that. We're going to plot numbers based on the questions that I'm asking and on the worksheets that will be provided to you. Okay? I'm going to put that back here. And we're going to plot some numbers now, okay, on our number line. So I want you all then to work out of your workbooks. You can have a workbook or a sheet of paper, preferably your notebooks, because you're going to keep all this information very close as we work on the worksheets, okay? So, first number, I want to practice plotting, okay, on our number line, because I want to find that absolute value. First, the absolute value, I'll give the absolute value number, and then we're going to plot it on the number line, and then you're going to find its opposite, okay? So remember that the 0, we're finding our absolute value, that is the number that is close to 0. Your opposite is set on this same exact number line. It is the same exact distance from 0. Remember that your opposites are the numbers, same numbers placed on the number line. They're the exact same distance from 0 as your absolute value number. Okay? So I'm going to plot, I'm going to get values of, I'm going to load with the opposite of 3. So I plotted 3 here. Okay? I plotted number 3. Okay? And now I need to find the opposite of 3. So first, this is how I find my value. I look here at 0. Okay, I'm looking here at 0. Looking here at 0. And then I want to jump from 0. I'm going to jump 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, back to 0. Okay, so notice that your 3 here is close to 0. Now I want to find the opposite. Okay, now I want to find the opposite. Okay, so I loaded my number. Remember that your opposite is going to be in the other direction, but same exact distance from 0. Okay, so I go look at my number line. Okay, I go 1, -1, -2, oh, -3. Found it. So I applied it right here. I want to jump 3. I want to make sure it's the same distance, so I'm going to jump. Okay, and voila, I've jumped and I found that they're the same exact distance. 3, this absolute value of 3 is, and the opposite is -3. So if you're looking at your worksheets when you get it, you're going to have a plot here, say for instance, and you're going to have -3. And these lines just mean, instead of written form, they mean you're looking for your absolute value. So you would say if you took these lines away, you would say the absolute, if you were writing it out, you would say the absolute value of 3 is -3. So these lines are an indicator that you're going to find the absolute value. Okay? So that's what that means when you see these lines. And they are on the worksheet. Now with the worksheets, we're going to work on that together. You're also going to work on the worksheets with a partner. So each of you will gather a partner, and you will work on the finding the absolute value and its opposites on the worksheets. Let me introduce the worksheets to you. In the first worksheet I have, it's called Absolute Value and Opposites. Okay. On here it has a number line for you so that you can find the absolute value. We have 8 questions here. 8 questions. So, working together with myself and your partners in your groups, you're going to use this number line here, okay, the number line at the very top, and you're going to answer the questions. Okay. So the first question for us is finding the absolute value of -5. So we go here to the number line and we look for -5. So we found it. Okay, we're going to plot it right there. I'm going to plot it. Okay. So now you found -5. Remember that how I showed you how to make sure here's 0. You're also looking for that 0. You want them to see, okay, well, what's the distance of -5 to 0? So you know you're going to jump over. You're going to jump over a little bit. Jump over, and we're at 0. Okay. So we need to see, okay, if -5 is right here, we got to look at the opposite side or opposite direction of the number line to find our number 5. So you're going to write number 5 then right here. Okay. The opposite of -5 to find the absolute value is 5. Okay, well, we plotted that over here. Okay, so plot means to place your marker right there. Okay, and you're gonna, you just jump and do the same, just to make sure that the distance is the same on each end or each direction of your number line. You're gonna do the same with number 2 through 8, and number 5, questions 5 through 8 are word questions. Okay. And number 5 says, what is the opposite of 1? Okay. So you're going to look at your number line again. You're going to always refer back to that number line because this is what will help you. Okay. And question number 5 asks, what is the opposite of number 1? So what's the opposite of 1? Well, you look at your number line. You see number 1 right here. You look at, okay, you say, okay, 1 is right here. Okay. And you say, okay, well, let me jump. That's right there. If I jump, I went to 0. Now I'm going to look at the opposite side of the number line, and I see a -1. So I'm going to plot that. I'm going to write that right here. You're going to write that number, that the opposite of 1 is a -1. Okay. So you got that right there. -1 is the opposite of 1. So that's how we find our absolute value and our opposites. Remembering that the absolute value is the distance. A number is from 0. And then your opposite is a number that's, when it's placed on the number line here, is the exact same distance from 0. When it's placed on the number line, your opposite then is the same number, exact same distance from 0 as it is on the other side, going in the other direction. So you will work on this together. Then you will have, as independent practice, you will then have this worksheet, which is called Understanding Absolute Value. You'll work on it here. You have a number line. There are number lines here that have been created for you. And this, which is helpful about this one, you can also plot your numbers here. And remembering, again, it has a definition right here for you as well, just for your to refresh your memory. And you also please refer back to your notebooks as well for the definition. But the definition is written up here. It says the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0. So with that in mind, then, you will work independently. I encourage, if you are having a little difficulty, you can work with a partner again. And then with that, you're going to, for my assessment, I'm going to collect your worksheets here. And then with your partner, with your practice sheet, you're going to practice. You're going to share out. You want to share out your answers, how you plot it. You're going to practice with different other numbers as well. So I hope you've enjoyed um, listening to this video on absolute value, a math concept for sixth grade. And so this is something that you will need to understand, learn, and understand, and you know what absolute value is, and what the opposites of your absolute value will be. Okay, so with that in mind, I hope that that you can that you will work well on this assignment. And if you have any questions, I'll be circulating around and uh, help assisting all that need the some extra help. You're working in partners, so your partner will be able to help as well. The number line is here for you, and all the tools are here. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. Have a good afternoon. Bye bye.